Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is B. Avery here for another episode of Just My Opinion. As you can see, we are talking Loki, episode 6 recap on Disney Plus. This is the season finale after this short series, and I've enjoyed it for the most part. I'm going to be spoiling this episode. I just got done watching it. If you couldn't tell, so I've only seen it one time. I'm going straight off the dome. I'll be back later on this evening, with a full recap with the crew. But I just had to jump on here real quick at 3 in the morning with my initial thoughts. Just to let you know, this will be spoiler filled. So if you haven't seen the episode, turn away now. You have been warned. So episodes 1, 2, and 4 was my favorite. 3 was a huge disappointment. 5 was better than 3. It was okay. And going into this, I was worried. Am I satisfied with how everything ended? To be honest with you, I'm not. But I'm not going to go as far as saying that the episode was bad. There was just still so many questions that needs to be answered. And I just don't think I got all of those answers. And I don't think that I have the patience to wait until season 2. And I knew that we were going to be getting a season 2. I think that was leaked a long time ago. But we start off, they're going through the Citadel at the end of time. And we actually see the sacred timeline. And I liked how it looked. That was beautiful. First of all, I love the intro with all these iconic lines of dialogue from our heroes and villains throughout the MCU since 2008, since the beginning. So that was cool right there. I did like that. And I did like all the imagery and whatnot. And as soon as Miss Menace popped up, I was like, wow, it's Miss Menace. And it kind of made me jump a little bit, like a little jump scare. But I did not know how to take it. A lot of people was thinking that Miss Menace was going to be behind this, but again, she is just the secretary. And we got to give a nice shout out to Miss, I forgot her name, the actress that's playing Miss Menace. What is it? I forgot. I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but I did enjoy Miss Menace, but I was so surprised when we got the reveal of who was behind the whole thing. And it was Jonathan Majors, who has been cast as Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Now, he was not called Kang in this episode, I believe, because this was a variant of Kang. Shout out to Eman, because he called that a long time ago, like at the very beginning. He was like, I think it's going to be Kang, but I think it's going to be a variant of Kang. And it turns out that is the case, because Loki was scared at the very end. Just with the episode overall, it was fine. There was still a lot of dead air where it could have been filled in with extra dialogue to explain the plot and the story, just to kind of flesh some things out. We got, like, I didn't really care for seeing Sylvie and Loki fighting each other. That was just kind of frustrating to me. I didn't understand that. Well, I understood it. I just kind of wish they took a different approach. But seeing Jonathan Majors, he was like, some call me a ruler, some call me a conqueror. He didn't call himself Kang. Initially, when they showed his face sitting down in that elevator, I was like, oh shit, it's Kang, you know what I'm saying? And, he had this cape on. But as, we started to get to know his character, I was like, man, this dude is kind of goofy and silly and just kind of not taking this thing seriously, like, and I was like, that's kind of a weak villain right there. That's not the Kang I know, where he just coming through with the blue face, Temacles, with all these powers. But this is a variant of Kang. It's not the Kang that is going around just kicking a bunch of ass and stuff. Now, towards the end, I thought it was beautiful seeing the actual instead of the propaganda dogma, conspiracy propaganda video by Miss Menace that they showed in episode 1. I thought it was beautiful that we actually got to see the sacred timeline and all the branches branching out. And I guess that's just the case when Sylvie killed him. Now, prior to that, I'm just going to call him Kang. What did he say? He said that at first he was lying, saying that I've seen it all, I know it all, I've paved the road, all you guys have done is walk down it. And then he revealed that he was lying, and he was like, we just passed the threshold. I just realized that I do not know what's going to happen as from this point forward. If that was the case, why were you not more, if that was the case the whole time, why weren't you more on your guard? Why, you was just completely defenseless. You didn't have any guards or anything like that. It's like he kind of wanted to die. He said that he's been alive a long time. Maybe he said he was tired and he wants to give it up and he's waiting for people to take his place. And that's not the case. They didn't do that. She killed him. And that's what caused the branch timeline. Now, but this just takes me back to think like episode 3 or 4. Like, I want to know, what was it about Sylvie and Loki that caused their branch timeline? I still want to know, what was the point of Ravonna taking Sylvie and Loki down to the robot timekeepers if they weren't real? Even if they were real and Ravonna knew, what was the point of trying to prune them in front of the timekeepers, everybody else? Why didn't they just let them die on Lamentis? Why didn't they just prune them before they went down on the elevator? What information were they trying to get from Sylvie and Loki in front of the robot timekeepers that were fake? That were just kind of pointless. Those questions right there still have never been answered, and that's just kind of frustrating to me, to be honest with you. Now, something else that was interesting is, I'm assuming that Mobius is the one that freed B-15, Wumi Mosaku, out of the prison. And I'm assuming that she got a temp pad and then she went to the timeline of, was it 98 or 2000? I think it was 2018 in Arizona. And I guess that's where Ravonna's, normal timeline was. And so she just took the guards there to, I guess, to get more people on her side, and just be like, look, we're our variants, and here's proof of it right here. This is not Judge Renslayer. This is, whatever her real name is, and so she's a variant, I'm a variant, you're a variant. They just could have fleshed it out more, but they kind of left us, there on our own to try to kind of fill in the blanks. And, I don't know, maybe you guys are more thrilled with that, but I like the fact that they went there. But this was a short episode. It was only 47 minutes. And of course, we get 30 minutes of trailer. Not trailer, of credits or whatever. But what else was cool about this episode? Now when Mobius, I like the dialogue between Mobius and Ravonna. I do like that, between the, Ravonna Renslayer. And I want to know where she was going, what files were she's trying to download? Where did she end up going? Mobius got his ass kicked. She was like, even with that pruning stick, you're no match for me. And she kind of did a sidestep kung fu move and took the baton. And where did she go and what files was she downloading? And she is cuckoo for Cocoa Puff. She has really drank the Kool-Aid. I guess her salary as a teacher or principal at that high school or her office wasn't paying enough. And she's like, I don't want to go back to that because it was whack. And, none of my coworkers like me or whatever. They always stole my lunch and stuff like that. I just have so many questions, like, what is the hell is wrong with Ravonna? I do like B-15, that was dope. I just have so many questions, And then going back to King, all he did was basically tell them the same story of what was in episode 1, but instead of the timekeepers, it was the Kings, him and, his other variants that, hey, there's more than one universe. And the thing about it is, everybody was at peace living in their parallel universes, but some kings, like he said, was not as nice as others and wanted to rule everything. So they was trying to preserve their reality and destroy others. What the hell does it matter, man? Like, just live in your own damn reality, But this was interesting. Of course, I got to watch it again. That fight between the two Lokis, between Sylvie and Loki, that really did annoy me. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all are literally here at the end of time and y'all want to fight each other. I don't know. It's just, I understand the conflict. Loki didn't want to do it. He didn't want to make a mistake, but, Sylvie did, and she sent him back. And she had some type of circular rock. Like, what kind of temp pad was that? I don't know. And then, they were saying that he was the one that remained, because Miss Minutes was like, the one that remains. And it just, and man, that was a hell of a branch timeline at the end. I mean, God, I cannot wait to see the ramifications of how all of this is going to play out. And the whole TVA is in the cluster F. Everybody's running around like, with their head chopped off, because there's just so many branch timelines that can't stop it. So does all of the TVA know now? Because I'm assuming that the TVA has to have like millions and millions of employees to manage the multiverse. So is everybody aware now that it was all a farce? Like, oh man, I just wanted more, man. There's too many I don't want to say plot holes, but there's just still too many unanswered questions. And the stuff that I addressed at the beginning of this too. I'm trying to think, what am I leaving out? Oh man, this was a lot to pack in. I mean, I like the design of the Citadel. The episode didn't even need to be longer. I just kind of wish it was just a lot of dead air, like. And then we see at the end, and what the hell was Mobius asking Loki, talking about, who are you? You're an analyst, right? Think about it. And he's like, what? Calm down. And then he's freaking out like, man, we made a mistake. The person that's behind all this is coming, and there's multiple versions of him. And then he looked at that statue of the timekeeper, and he saw that was Kane, the variant. I was also thinking that Ravonna was going to pop up in the Citadel, because she is the one that went through the portal after she ended up knocking Mobius on the ground, but we didn't show that. I mean, that would have made sense. But at the same time, maybe not, because she still doesn't know what all the answers are. Oh man, this is she is loyal, and that's an unfortunate thing in this case, because she's loyal to an evil corporation, But yeah, man, it's just, I got a lot to think about. I don't know how I feel about this season, if I like it overall. As of now, I am more satisfied with the season finale of WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just felt like I got closure. And while, and I still, like, this was a huge cliffhanger. So I guess I'm disappointed. I mean, I am slightly disappointed. I got to watch it again, but I am slightly disappointed. I don't know. I just wanted more, and I have so many questions, and they're not answered. And it's not like we got to wait a week. We may have to wait a couple of years before we find out. Kevin Feige did say that this is going to change the way we see the MCU, kind of like Endgame did. And at the same time, I know that time passes differently in the TVA or whatever pocket dimension that they're in. But, in Endgame, they're in year 2025 or is it 2025 or 2023? I think 2023. And this took place, well, kind of after 2012. So now I'm thinking, like, with this branch time, with the sacred timeline just exploding into all these branches, how is that going to affect the present day MCU that's in 2023 and all that stuff? So, man, it's a lot to unpack in this episode. The only other reactions I saw is I got a notification, 3C Films that was on my show week before last. He put out a tweet, like, he was like, they effing did it, et cetera, et cetera. And I saw a few of the replies, like, some people liked this, some people didn't. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I'm all over the place right now. But guys, those are my initial thoughts right there. Please let me know what you think down below of this episode, this final episode of Loki season 1. And let's chop it up in the comment section. So again, guys, that is just my opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. Come back later tonight, 6 p.m. CST, for my full breakdown with OneTakeBigDog and Lamont with Life Games is going to be there. And I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. We're going to be doing this live. But again, guys, before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.